Today I want to go over how to best set up ManageWP Orion. We use it for all of our websites. It's very useful, just keeping things automated and up to date. And we've used a lot of different systems, but ManageWP Orion has by far been the best in terms of reliability and just the processes that it goes through. Before we'd have 3 or 4 systems doing the different functions where Orion does all of that stuff. So just want to go through the best way to set this up, kind of what we do step by step, just to make sure that everything's works correctly and it's kind of set it and forget it, other than the weekly updates that we do. So we'll go in here. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to set up the client. So before we create an account or do anything like that, we're going to go in here, and I'm just going to go add a new client, test2, put in their email. And I don't really fill the rest of this stuff up. I will put their company name, but their phone number and the notes, we don't really use this for the like client management. So, but you can put that in here if you want kind of one place where all your client information stays. If you want the reports to go to more than one person, we do put just kind of the main contact's name up here, and then separate these by commas. So if you have 2 people that need to see the reports each week or month or however often you do them, put both email addresses there. And then we're going to create the client. Next step, we're going to go and we're going to, there's a plus sign, I kind of hit it up here, but in the upper left-hand corner, click the plus sign, it'll say add new website. And we're just going to put in Chandler. Put in one of our people here. Click next. Okay. And then it's going to ask for the username and login. And what it's going to do here is it's going to install the plugin that's used to kind of interface with Orion. That's how everything's done in the back end, where you're doing the updates and managing SEO and all that stuff. And it takes just a minute here to actually install. It's kind of annoying, you don't see like a thinking animation or anything. You'll notice that this is grayed out, and you just have to sit there and wait. And any moment here. Okay, so it is good to go. The next step we're going to do is we're going to go into the dashboard for that client, and we're going to go to settings. We're going to do a couple things back here. So I'm going to add in our client. So we got tester, and then I like to tag them. We've got a couple different options we use this for, just to kind of give you some ideas. We have the live site. Sometimes you can do, if you want to do a development site. We chose not to do that just because it's a pain to transfer it to live in the end. So we just do it when we launch the new site. We do have some people that are on trial where we'll give them a month just to kind of see all the stuff we do for them and show the value that this adds. So we may tag them as a trial, and then monthly we just kind of review that and try to upsell them on our monthly service. But we'll go ahead and just tag this as live. We go ahead then also and add their Google Analytics here. This is a little annoying if you've got a lot of accounts that you manage. It's it just lists everything. And I don't know if we have this account attached here. We do. Okay. So just find that on the list, and the next thing we're going to do is we're going to save this, and then just kind of go down the list. So I've got the full package to where we get all of the premium features. It's really worth it if you do several sites. It's $150 a month, I think, for 100 sites. So about $15 a site if you max it out. So first thing we'll set up is backups. And we're going to activate backups. We're going to activate the premium, since we have that. And most of the settings here are fine. We're going to make it run daily. And the nice thing about their default setup is all of the backups go into their storage. Very easy to restore. You don't have to set up a Google Drive account or a Dropbox account, and they just store up to 90 days. You can go up to real time, which is about hourly, but daily for most people is going to work. This right here, this time selector, is really finicky. I always want it to be kind of like 1 a.m., but you see, you click 1 a.m. and nothing happens. There's probably some trick to this, but I have not been able to find out. You try to delete stuff. I think maybe that works. I'm not gonna mess with this too much, but just like I say, if you click these, it just doesn't even care that you're clicking time. Sometimes you click and that shows up. Sometimes it doesn't. See, sometimes it changes. Sometimes it doesn't. Let's see. We'll leave it at 6:30. I like all of them to run at the same time, so this is especially annoying to me, just because I want it to run at the same time. But I've literally spent 20 minutes just clicking, trying to figure it out. But you use the up and down arrows too, but that just sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. See, I just selected 3 and and it put 7:30. Okay, moving on. So exclude content. This is great. So here, if you have in your database, you can exclude different tables. Most people aren't going to mess with that, but if you had a table within that same WordPress database storing, signups or something like that, that's a kind of custom module, you'd want to make sure that is included. This only by default includes the default WordPress files and database tables. So here in the files, this is where it's really useful. If you have a folder here that's like images or landing pages or something like that, you can include that. By default, again, it's going to be excluded. Again, files here, we've got a couple files that PDFs that we might as well back up. We want to make sure we keep those. Our Google Webmaster Tools file, we don't need to, I need to delete that from the server. But again, if there's anything in here that you'd want backed up as well, go for it. If there's anything that you don't want backed up that's selected, then make sure you do that. For example, you may in WP content, you may have a theme or a certain folder in here that you'll want to exclude because it's for whatever reason. Moving on. And then the rest of this really is fine. Event notifications are a global setting. We don't really mess with those. Just if there's a problem, it emails you. So we don't really mess with that. You can also add in your database credentials directly in here, and it's not necessary, but it can speed things up. So, and then that is all done. And we just need to go out of it, and everything should be saved. Actually, sorry, just a step back. When you do select this stuff, actually, yeah, it saves it off the bat, so good to double check. Next step is going to be the security check. So this is really good. We use WordFence as well, just because this kind of checks if there's a problem. WordFence helps prevent a problem. So we use both, and but this is good just to kind of, for added security. So we'll go ahead and activate it. Again, we've got the premium version, and then we'll go to scheduling, and I'll do daily. Daily is fine, and again, event notifications. By default, it's going to let the admin of the account know that there's a problem. We really don't want this alerting customers necessarily, but we'll go ahead and save this. And oops. All right, and then so security is all set up. If you want to, you can go ahead and run a security check just to make sure. Next, we'll go on to performance. So this is one that is really good for you to see. A lot of times, just a side note, these numbers are kind of meaningless. They overall, I mean, the percentage, if it's 50%, 60%, doesn't necessarily mean that there's a problem. It just means that's how they're scoring different things. You probably could do better, but you can have a fast website that runs fine that gets 40%. But that said, you do want to fix these issues, and it's a good thing where you can show, if you have this show up on the reports, you can show the customer, hey, you're at 90%. And again, that means objectively, but can still be a good thing to kind of show them. Okay, so we do the same thing. We schedule it daily, and again, if it's D or lower, they'll let you know if there's a real problem. And so we go ahead and just schedule that. Again, by default, it's set to daily, but just in case you want to change the settings, you can. If you want to go ahead and run a performance check now, that's good, just to kind of see where you're at, and if there is a problem, you can address that now versus when the reports come out. Next is the uptime monitor. We'll go ahead and activate uptime monitor. This is good and it does require some setup. By default, it will email you. You can add in your phone number for texting. But again, one of the things that's a little confusing to customers, just to know here, is right now, since we have just activated the uptime monitor, it says the site has been up for 24 seconds. On the report that the client gets, let's say they get it tomorrow, they'll show that the site has been up for 24 hours. If it's a site that's been up for months, you can get kind of a customer that's a little mad or confused or whatever. Just make sure you address that with them. Hey, we switched systems and it really just started monitoring it yesterday or whatever. But this is good. Sometimes we do, I'll show you the settings here, but it can be a little annoying because sometimes the site will go down for seconds, or it'll just, the check will time out. And so you won't really have a site down. You'll have an email or you'll get a text and you'll run to computers to find out that there's no problem. So here's kind of what we do. In the settings, we have it check every 5 minutes. The notification delay we set to 5 minutes as well. So this basically means that a site has to be down for 5 full minutes to actually warn you. So what that means is it'll check, and if it sees that the site's down, it's just kind of sit there. It's going to check it again in 5 minutes, and if it's still down, then it will actually email you. There have been some problems that we've had where it emails you that a site is down, but it doesn't email you that it's back up. Again, a little annoying, maybe just a bug in the Orion system, but overall, it's just a great system. If you use Uptime Monitor or some other system, that they're free, and so you're not paying for them. But I like to have everything here, so that again, when I send my report off to the client, there's uptime monitoring on that report. So we'll go ahead and save this. Okay, and then SEO. Again, we'll activate it. this is another one that can be a good thing or a bad thing on your report. If your client's site is not performing well for their keywords, I'd suggest not showing it and then trying to upsell them some SEO packages or some content marketing. Overall, you want to do some keyword research. Get it's up to 100 keywords, and it checks every Sunday. And again, it's really good if you don't have a SEO benchmarking plugin. Even if it's just for you, I would always suggest doing this again, so you have some good info for your clients. You can try and sell them SEO and say, hey, here's your keywords, here's what people are searching. You're not showing up. And a lot of times, that's a whole nother video, but a lot of times it can be because of poor SEO setup, but it also can be because they don't have enough content or they need content generated, and most clients are just too busy or lazy to do that. So again, this is a good thing. It is kind of annoying because the competitors are chosen based off the keywords. So you'll have, let's say your client sells bolts. Well, Sears is going to show up for that, but maybe your client makes custom bolts for tractors that only dealerships, aftermarket dealerships are going to buy. Well, Sears will show up, or Ace Hardware will show up as a competitor. Well, if your customer sees that, they're going to say, hey, we're not a competitor with Ace. This is wrong. So it can be a little annoying, and you can't edit who the competitors are yet. So just keep that in mind. This is really good for you. It's good for your customer if it's correct. So just keep that in mind. So SEO, if you do add keywords, you just do one per line, and we'll just put testing, and add these in. And the nice thing, again, week to week, it checks every Sunday. It checks right off the bat when you add a keyword, and then checks again every Sunday, and it'll show you how you're doing, what's changed. Next is the client report. We'll go ahead and activate this. And we use a template, so you can run these one-offs, so you can just go ahead and generate something for you or the client. We always do scheduling, and we do bi-weekly. Found that that's probably kind of the best way to have a touch point with the client, not too often, but enough that they're getting good information and thinking and realizing the stuff that's happening on their website that they're paying for. Again, you got this time thing. This one's actually a little better. I don't know why, but we always have them go at 8 o'clock. Found that that's kind of the best time for them to get it to the office, sit down, and then one of the first things they see is an email from us. And setting up the templates is a little another kind of process, but you'll want to set up a template and kind of choose the options that you want to send, and kind of not customize it, but put some text in there so it sounds like it's something that you typed up and sent to them. At 8 in the morning you got up and first thing you did was send an email out to them. You do have some options where you can have it sent automatically. We have it sent on automatically because if there is a problem, and we kind of want the transparency of our client to know that, and so that it's something that we can fix. But you do have the option to create it, but wait for your confirmation before emailing it, or send it unless one of the following things happen. So if there's site downtime, or security checks are positive, or vulnerabilities are positive, it kind of gives you, hey, do you really want to send this? And gives you an opportunity to fix that, or not send it at all. So that is that, and that's saved. And then for white label, This basically just sets it up so that the plugin doesn't show ManageWP plugin. It shows whatever you want it to show. So we have it show Crash Creative Manager by default. And that really is the total setup. At this point, everything is automated. You've got backups rolling, security rolling, performance, uptime, SEO, and your client reports. And the only thing that you really have to do at this point is go to your dashboard once or twice a week. We do twice a week, and do the updates to the plugin, themes, the WordPress version. And again, this looks great for your client, and it keeps all your sites up to date, secure, and rolling. And that is it. Thank you.